Welcome to a week of soup. My sister and I have been a little under the weather lately, so we have been focusing on eating nutritious soups for the past week. We are continuing on into a second week of soup, so I thought I would bring you along and share some yummy fall recipes. First, we are making a butternut squash soup. This is something that we grew up on and very much enjoyed. I begin by preheating the oven to 425 degrees. Then I cut the butternut squash and onion in half. Admittedly, I didn't do the best job cutting the squash. However, it's in half and I removed the seeds and the membrane. Then I'm going to pour on some olive oil on both the squash and the onion and place them face down on the tray. These will cook in the oven for an hour. Now that everything is done cooking, I begin transferring it to the blender. I begin by adding 2 garlic cloves, 2 tablespoons of butter, 1 tablespoon of maple syrup, and then a dash of cinnamon, a dash of salt, and a dash of ginger. Then I scrape out the insides of the butternut squash and add it to the blender along with the cooked onion. Finally, I add 3 cups of vegetable broth and blend it up. Once everything is blended, it is ready to serve. This is such a delicious and healing soup. I highly recommend it. Today I am making potato leek soup. Onions have been extremely strong recently, and I haven't been able to chop or saute them, so I have started roasting them. This has given my eyes immense relief. Just like yesterday, I cut the onion in half and pour some olive oil on each piece. I place them face down on the tray. This will cook for 1 hour on 425 degrees Fahrenheit. I have 2 leeks left from last week's recipes, so I'm going to use those in today's meal. I chop them up and rinse them well. Then I'm going to cook them on the stove for about 10 minutes. I like them to get soft and have a little brown on them. After 10 minutes, I add some minced garlic to the pot. I also add 5 rinsed, peeled, and chopped potatoes, salt, thyme, and 4 cups of chicken broth. Now that all my ingredients are in the pan, I am turning the heat up to high and bringing it to a boil. Once it reaches the boil, I will reduce the heat and simmer the soup for 20 minutes. For today, I want a very creamy and smooth soup, so I place the soup along with the cooked onion into the blender and mix it up. Once it has reached my desired consistency, it is ready to serve. Our third soup of the week is cabbage soup. I begin an hour before I put anything into the pot by once again cooking my onion in the oven. Once that is done, I begin to actively cook. I am going to put some olive oil in the pan and add a couple of celery sticks that I have left over from last week. I am also going to add a can of carrots and 2 chopped garlic cloves, along with the delicious smelling onion. Since the onion is already cooked, I only need to cook this mixture for about 3 minutes. Now that the flavors have had time to cook and blend together, I add a little oregano, basil leaf, salt, and pepper. I'm going to cook this for another 2 minutes and then half a head of cabbage that has been chopped up. Our cabbage has had 5 minutes to cook, so I'm going to add a few more ingredients to our soup. First, I add 1 large fresh tomato in addition to a can of diced tomatoes. And our last ingredient is vegetable broth. I add 4 cups to our soup. I'm going to let this come to a boil, and then I will simmer it for 15 minutes. This is one of my favorite soups from the week. For 2 of our soups, we had a side salad. For this, I just chopped up some lettuce, added some chopped cabbage, put in 1 large tomato, part of a zucchini, some chopped nuts, and some cranberries. Thank you guys so much for joining me for part 1 of a week of soup. Be sure to hit the notification bell so you are notified when part 2 is uploaded.